morning, everyone. Very good morning. Shall we start the session or shall we wait for 4:30? Okay, we wait for 4:30. All right. Now let's move to the session. Shall we start right now? Topic is expression. So whenever we use expression, that is a construct in which the data are acted upon, they are acted by the different operators, and by means of an expression, the result of the operators acting on the variable can be evaluated. So they can be evaluated, they can be maintained, and there are two basic type of operators. One is a basic operators, one is a functions. And the basic operators includes arithmetic, comparison, string, and the boolean. And the functions includes the logical functions, arithmetic functions, boolean functions that can be assigned with a different value with a different data. And these are also used with the boolean algebra, boolean category that will result either true or the false. So there are equals to, less than equals to, not equals to, more than equals to, and the less than equals to. So when we talk about the string, that is the combination or the sequence of the symbols, and the concatenation operator ampersand is used for concatenating the two strings. And there are two operators for the string comparison, contain and does not contain, by which two strings can be compared. And the result of the concatenation is also a string. So out of these two, there is a string, that result is also known as the string, while the two comparison operators result in the Boolean values. In case of the in-group of the Boolean operators, the usual logical operators that is performed are the NOT, AND, OR, XOR, and the EQ. And these are the predefined, and functions are the predefined operators that will be used, that will be predefined actions on the data value. And there are a number of the different types of functions that will be used in the code fusion. One is the array function that we have discussed in the last class basically. Yes. And there are three statements again: if else statement, switch statement, loop statement. Execute the block 1, execute block 2, and the logical expression can be also be used, for example, y, gdx. And the multi-way branching switch statement complex has the following syntax: cf switch expression, then cf case value equals to value 1, execute block 1, cf case value 2, execute block 2, cf case will be closed. So one cf case will be opened, cf close case will be closed. Then cf switch, this expression is assumed to be valid, possible to evaluate, and producing a value compatible with the values in the cf case. So there are multiple types of the cases, there are multiple types of the looping that is also be used. So we'll illustrate the loop statement with the simplest, often referred as a for loop. So this is a CF loop, index, loop count, from start number to end number. So this is used with the end number for from number, index number, then executes the block, then CF loop will be closed. Then there is a loop count that will be incremented by 1 for each loop started, that starts with the value assigned to the start number and end with the value specified for the end number. So one is the start number, one is the end number. Other components. So there are other language components are also available in CFML. The most of the common are output, output includes and the comments. Output permits displaying the results from the CMMX operations. For example, the result from a database query, CF output query, query name, maximum rows, max, group, start row, then there is a text. Then CF output will be closed. So CF output will be opened for the query for the maximum rows, start row, and CF output will be closed over here. Where query name is a name given in a previous query tag, and max is the maximum number of the rows wanted, and row specified the row from which to start output. And this tag also generates a display of the content of a collected query object. So whenever we whenever we use a tag that is used to display a collected query object, that will be included. It is used in the CF templates. So this is the CF includes template equals to template name. The template name is the absolute URL of the relative address to this template. And this tag is similar to a call of the routine. This will be used with a non-executable remark that is similar but not identical to the HTML remark tag. Then there is a text. So 3 dashes and a blank before that can be used with the blank, and the 3 dashes are used in contrast to the HTML remarks. Yeah, this is one of the example that you have to study by your own. Just study it out. When we use this example, that will be available in this course, that is implemented, that is used for providing the link at the end of the session. And this is a simple guessing session that will sum the integers from 1 up to the number that is also gone over here. No, that I agree that HTML code is also different from the CFM. Yeah, CFM template. There's no issue that this tag will be used to specify the attributes for which other attributes are called upon. But this is an example. Now this is the example that will be used to return to the start and refresh the display. So we are using the application.cfm, then CF application name, that is the name is guest, session management, that is also yes, session timeout, that is a create time span 0030. So we are getting a time span over here, that is a 0030. So that will be available, that will be used to make the template available in this tag. Second statement is a CF application tag, which is our present example, has 3 attributes. Name, that specifies the name of the application. Session management. So, first one is a name that includes a guest. Then there is a session management, that application must remember the session variables. Finally, the session timeout, that specifies the length of the time in days, hours, minutes, and seconds. This time spent has a length of the duration, has a time boundation, that is how many days, how many hours, how many minutes, and how many seconds. The system must remember these variables if it is inactive. And this template can also include other tags also. That is very simple dynamic application containing 2 display templates, of which second depends on the information submitted from the first, and make the application dynamic. So this application, this tag has a name index.cfm, which eliminates the possibility that uninvited visitors are browsing the content of the folder. But the task is to be solved by this template is to present the game to the user and collect his or her name and guess by means of a name. Then there is an important parameter, that is a random upper limit for the integer to be summed up. And the task for the second template, that is the response.cfm, is to calculate the correct answer to the problem, decide whether the guess submitted is correct or not, and present the conclusion from the user. So this looks like the number that is left out, that is a script, and that place there to be made easier to refer to the different parts of a template. So this is the index.cfm, then CFSET, temp, that is a randomized function, second now, CFSET, session.target, random range, 50, 100. We can say that this random range will be used as a time span that will be given as a range. This will be submitted with the H2 H1. Now the next code is the index.cfm that provides me the time that randomized seconds now, then CFSET session.target random range 50 to 100. Then again there is the H2 font color, that is also a red. Guess font H2 will be closed. Then form action, what is the action over here? That is a response.cfm. Then H2, again the same, heading number 2, form action response.cfm, CF output, that is used to give the output in the form tag. My name is text, then name, then P. I guess the sum of all the integers from this one to this one, and input text guess. Then CF output will be closed. Then P, input type equals to submit, value equals to submit, then P will be closed and the form This shows the invitation to submit a guess for evaluation. So this is the guess. Then my name is, this is the box that is given over here. Then I guess the sum of the integers from 1 to 52, that is also a sum. Then at last there is a submit button. This is used as a CFSET tag that illustrates how to use the button, how to use the text boxes. So this is one of the example of the CFSET that will be used a variable known as a temp that gives a value computed by the CF function randomize seconds now. And the purpose is to get a random seed for the next line. Now next example that is given over here is also the first command that defines a variable known as a temp that gives a value computed by the CF tag, how it is computed, why it is computed, for whom it is computed. These are the few questions that is arises on the temp, and if its value are computed by the CF function that is a randomized seconds now. And the purpose of this is to get a random seed for the next time that is obtained by using the second as a at the moment of the execution as an argument. And if you look carefully at the expression, you will see that you will be following that there is a fact init that is defined as the nested or three nested functions. Then innermost now gets a time, year, data, hours, minutes, seconds from the internal clock of the computer. That is the intermediate seconds that restricts the second from the time bar. While the other functions uses the seconds to generate a random series. These lines defines a variable session to a target and assigns to a variable as a random integer value in the range from 50 to 100. And that is done by using the CF function random range by following the expression either before or and after the execution. This simply means that the function's value is assigned to a variable session.target, and by qualifying a variable by session, the variable is also made persistent. That is, the variable session target is also used with the templates known by the same user, not single user, but the same user with a different session in the same session. Now this is the next form that is generated by using two variables, name and the guess, that are assigned the value that are sent out by the request to the user or to the server. And the second template response.cfm that also controls the processing of the transferred variable and the return response to the client. This is the response.cfm, then CFSET sum equals to 0, CF loop index sum count from 1 to the session target, CFSET sum count, CF loop will be closed, CFF sum equals to guess, CF output will be open. Then we are using the H3 tag for the font color, guess was correct, CF output will be closed, and the CF else will be used. So we are using the if else condition. If it is a sum equals to 0, then prints the output as a font color is new, name, and your guess was correct. Otherwise means elsewise. CF output, otherwise we give the output as a H3 heading. There the font color is red, then sorry, name, the sum is this one. Then CF output will be closed, and the CFF will be closed. So that depends on the if either we are using the if with the CF, either we are using the if with the HTML, but else the logic remains the same. If condition is true, execute the first statement. If condition is false, that is the else, execute another statement. And line 2 also assigns a value to the or 0 to the variable sum, and by means of CF loop, line 3 to 5 also adds the integer from the 1 to the session target and saves the result in the variable sum. And in line 6, a CF if tag instructs the server to test if the guess is correct, and lines 7 to 9 inform the user about a correct guess. And if the sum is not equal to guess, CF else will be selected and the page sent to the user will be informed that the guess was not correct, as well as giving the right answer. So that depends on the condition, that depends on the scenario, that depends on the expression. So this will be given as an incorrect, as a correct, that will be used to give the answer. Now the next is a session on the line 2 that will be assigned to the value 0 with the variable sum. And by means of the CF loop, this will also add the integer from the form 1 to the from 1 to the session target and saves the result over here. And this tag also instructs the server to test if the guess is correct, and this will also use with the correct guess or not. But if the sum is not equal to the guess, CFL is selected out and the page sent to the user informing that the guess was not correct as well as giving the correct answer. We will demonstrate an incorrect guess, demonstrates the value that will be explained with the evaluation of the function guess. No, we can use this one, but the evacuation or evaluation of this guess will be used over here. And this consisting of the three templates: application.cfm, index.cfm, response.cfm. That establish a CFM script folder with the subfolders for each of the example that will be defined with the web servers. So this will also be used to modify the templates to generate also a random upper limit between 100 and 200 for the range. To the template as a name GameModifier.cfm. Next is our market research. This chapter introduces about the hypothetical manners of research, that is how we use the research on the web. That will also be illustrated by the various basic examples. User aid that will find the link to the implemented session application example. That will provide a link that will provide some market research, we can say. That research will be used as an opinion of the public preference of two competing objects. There are the two radio buttons that will be compiled by using the two forms. That is applicable on the web market research. We can say that this is used as an opinion for the user by which we have to use the approach, follow approach of the questions. Any doubt till as for now?